Hey Capricorn, Luna here with the Artisan Tarot. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe when I'm about to go into your Fae Blessing readings for the week of Easter. Now, I did want to go over two things. One, if you would like to book a session with me or you would like to leave me a tip, my tip link is down in the description box below. Two, there is a full moon happening on the 16th of this week. I already have the full moon reading using the Lens Rider Tarot deck posted on my Patreon. It's like $35, I think. And it's in a select tier. The reason I put it in a tier is because the film decided to, sometimes when I film on my laptop, it likes to split into two, or the thing just stops rolling and then I have to make another one. So I went ahead and have both links in that tier for you guys. It's about a 40-minute video, but you're reading for the full moon. You're more than welcome to join me there for that exclusive access. And then we have your Isis Oracle deck reading. Now, these are actually using rites, rituals, spells, and incantations from the goddess Isis herself. That being said, these are also lessons of unconditional love. So if you've been wanting to attract unconditional love, you've been wanting to get into spell work, rites, and rituals, she is one of the best ones to work with. And I also have that on my Patreon for your zodiac sign. I've already pulled your 3 to 4 rites, rituals, and spell work and incantations for the month of April. They've already been posted. And they are also on Patreon, I want to say for $100. And the reason is because I gave you like 3 to 4. Okay, guys. So 3 to 4 rites, rituals, and incantations. And the best part is they last for about a month, the work that you do. And they're going to ground down your Fae blessings in the 3D. So even if the Fae blessings change, the lessons will help anchor them down in whatever you're learning. Because remember, these are blessings that are happening for you in the 3D as you are already learning lessons or have learned lessons. These are lessons that they're expanding on the lessons you've learned. So if you are interested in that, go to my Patreon. That is down in the description box below. So hi guys, I hope y'all like my dress. Man, I am really wearing heart chakra colors lately. Like pinks and greens. I don't know what's come over me. I even have like a pink purse. I never have had a pink purse. I've always had like neutral, colors, but lately it's been I mean, I'm not saying it's not like me. I mean, I do love pink and I do love green, but not so much in excess. So I must be going through like a heart chakra opening or shift, honestly. So let's see for Capricorn. What's coming through for Capricorn for the week of Easter? And oh, by the way, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Easter actually is a Fae holiday. Originally, it was a fairy holiday called, I want to say, Ostira. It's like Ostiera, I believe. And you should do your research on it because it's really cute. That's how the mythology of the bunny came about, the Easter bunny. Who delivered eggs, and I think a goddess, like a Fae goddess, rode him or something like that, or they were friends, or it was like, I read it last year, so it's been a good year since I found that out, but I was like, what do you know? It was a fairy holiday. I wasn't even like shocked and surprised. I was more like, oh, I knew it, Because come on, there can't only be one Fae holiday with St. Patrick's Day. I mean, they have a 6-month season of where they're really like, not even that, I'd say 9-month season realistically. Even in the winter, they're still around, but they're just kind of in their little homes, resting and relaxing, gearing up for what is to come in the changing of the seasons. Okay, so Capricorn, I'm going to keep this neutral. We're going to take these out because I'm going to put it this way. I think the reading I did for you, you got this, and so now you have neutralized that card. That's not bad. That means it's embodying neither good nor bad energy, but what it is telling me is you are still working through this lesson. Now, let me see here what is coming through for the lesson that you need to work with, or blessing that is coming in. Show me, my beautiful Seelie spirits of the Fae world, for Capricorn. I'm not taking that either. And I'm not taking that one either. Okay. So, it turned up right. Hang on. I got to take that one. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Capricorn. what I have for you, because it fell and then turned upright, is a blessing of light, a light touch. Okay, this is a card about forgiveness. So it's interesting because usually when I read cards, even with tarot and astrology, whenever a card is like this or kind of like this, I typically take it as neutral. So, and the reason I say that is because it's not totally upright, but it is not in complete reversal. So that's why I'm saying you're having to learn through these energies, but I also have to look at the direction of the energies too, which in this case, this energy is coming from the east. This is going into the west. And the thing is I actually had to do this for Sagittarius, I believe, in their reading when I did it last night. But they didn't have like 2 cards in reverse. So these are telling me these are not going to come into your experience until you work this out. These 3. So, okay. These might be things that we're going to have to work on during the retrograde. Like, just FYI, I don't know if y'all know that. We'll find out. But I'm going to go ahead and put them to the side since this energy is not open. This is what you're opening to. Now, if I look, the crown chakra is facing east. And this is what is coming more and more into awareness that the Fae beings are trying to bring to you, the blessings of a light touch. This is a card, as I stated earlier, of forgiveness, but it's not just about like having blind forgiveness. It's not just about forgiving for yourself, even though, yes, that is important. But it is actually about coming into a space to allow serenity to take you over so that you can work on a situation to truly forgive it. Because sometimes I think our problem is, Capricorn, we forgive and we don't truly forget. And I know y'all don't. Y'all will hold people and y'all will torture people even if you say you've let it go. I know you don't, which is why some Capricorns in my life, it's nice to still talk to them, but I don't keep them around because they try to make me pay for things that was in the past. And my thing is you can't be that way and say you've let it go if really you're just going to be a secret frenemy. Like, I'm sorry. And that I don't need that in my life. And Capricorn, you deserve better than being that way to yourself, because how you treat yourself is how you treat other people. So are you treating yourself as a frenemy? And I'm sure some of you are probably clicking off or like, what? I don't do that to myself, probably getting triggered here. But I'm asking you this from a standpoint of person to person, okay? Because when the Fae see you hurting, especially these Fae, they want to help heal you, but it's just like with Mother Isis. They can only do as much as you allow. And I know the cards that I pulled for this deck for y'all on Patreon, there were a lot of powerful messages, Capricorn, that talked about the same freaking theme. And I'm saying it like that because it's like I'm having to have this talk with you again during Easter weekend or Easter week. And I'm not necessarily annoyed, but it's like, Spirit, I mean, to me, I feel like y'all are a little bit stubborn. Of course you are, because you're an earth sign. You are the ram that also has the mermaid tail. I know. You're not really of this world, babe. I get it. But, you're not really of this world, and yet you have all this success in the 3D, which is great. But when all of that ended, the age of Capricorn ended, which was in 2020, shit hitteth the fan for you. And truth be told, I know you weren't ready for that. I know you weren't. Because it's like, Capricorn, you do get emotional, but you tend to hide it a lot. Because for you, showing emotions is not necessarily a thing. I know in the Isis Oracle reading that I did on Patreon, I had to have this talk too. But this is going to be a different talk because I'm saving that for those of you who go to the Isis Oracle. I'm not going to waste my time on people who are not going to listen to that or are just going to take it for granted and then do nothing. Sorry, guys, but that's the truth, because that's usually what happens sometimes with the earth signs in particular. They like to... You are included in that. You guys like to give advice. You guys like to come off as being helpful. And I say come off because not all of you have negative intentions. Some of you do. And I think the problem is your wires are always crossed as to why you do the things you do. And with people. And since this card has to do with forgiving, you need to start off by forgiving yourself for things that you have done to others or that you allowed, first off, because, or that you did to yourself, say, because sometimes we it's so interesting. I keep thinking of that TV show Lucifer on Netflix. I loved that show. And the premise of hell is that hell was designed by humans or by God. It was a place where humans could go when they could not resolve their guilt. But instead of it being used to resolve their guilt, it was in a form of imprisonment. And the divine, never really gave anybody any real absolution. It was all like a big mystery. And I'm going to go with it. Probably had to do, the way the writers wrote it that way was because it has to do with human spiritual evolution. When we begin to question the things that we have done out of why we did them, out of motive and whatnot, we learn more about ourselves. But sometimes we learn about dark shit about ourselves, don't we? Things we don't like. But here's the thing, Capricorn. You live in the deep, you come from the part, even though, you're an earth sign, you come from the part that is the darkest part of the underworld. And Pluto's in there, as I've been saying, going direct, making you explore this. And I think right now, this is that time where you have explored what you needed to explore. And you have, I would say you're shocked by what you found out about yourself, at least. If not, you were not shocked. You were at least like, oh, wow, I never saw myself like that. It was kind of like maybe a little stunned, or you just didn't realize your perception, how either skewed it was or how others skewed the perception of you and so on and so forth. But now you're learning. And so it's like, now that you've learned that, as a Saturnian energy of karma and the karma enactor, I don't want you guys to punish yourselves, because that's the thing about hell in the Lucifer series. It was all about humans punishing themselves with their own guilt that was usually subconscious, which is fascinating to me. Whoever came up with that, who wrote that, I think Neil Gaiman was the one who wrote it, or whoever expanded on that, was genius, because that exactly is how guilt works. It's mechanics of it. It keeps us trapped in this place of our darkest fears or our darkest concerns. Excuse me 1 second. Or the darkest parts of ourselves, to essentially make us feel ashamed or bad instead of resolving it. Yes, feeling ashamed for things that you have done, Capricorn, or things that people have done to you. Because sometimes it's not always you guys. It may be other people. Let's be honest. People suck right now, and the world is sucking right now. So we need to kind of keep in perspective. There's this duality sense of groups and the other and myself and how I work in that and et cetera, et cetera. But with these Fae beings, they're coming in to help actually give you that kind of absolution. It's quiet though. It's reserved. I've worked with this card. So but I kind of rejected working with this card in the beginning, but I was open to working with it to an extent, because the trick is with this card, it wanted me to heal a situation with another. And I was like, yeah, but I've been doing that for 6 years. So that's when you have to realize, if you've been trying to do something like that and it's been 6 years worth of trying to resolve things and someone just won't shift their perspective, that's when you need to say, I lovingly release this and let it go, but I'm not going to heal that until I'm able to fully come away from that situation, because then it just throws you back in the toxicity of you healing, recovering, and then having someone rehash and reopen those wounds. You know what I'm saying? And so what happens is that puts you back in trauma mode. And that's not what this card is about. This card is about giving you the resolution to face that inner guilt. But not also guilt, not also being ashamed, but also the past of what people have done. Because if you've noticed, Capricorn, the worst of the worst things are happening to a lot of humanity on different parts of the continent. And I truly do not know how we as a species will be moving forward. I read tarot, and all I know is that, the astrology will pull us forward. Pluto going retrograde is going to be, believe it or not, for me, he's a saving grace, because he's going to be able to enact the policies managing the 3D world in your sign. He's going to be able to rebalance things in a shift that I think is going to surprise a hell of a lot of people. But I mean, there's also a couple of other factors we have going on with the astrology that will be coming through, and at least from like now, including Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going to be a big part of that shift, because I'm probably going to have y'all's charts on a PDF or something on Patreon, or a general chart. I'm trying to figure it out right now. I don't want to put anything new out because of the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde and I am a Sagittarian Scorpio sun sign. And every time I do something new, Mercury is just like his freaking Homeric hymn, always playing jokes on me until I got to go be, big Scorpio energy, which I have a North Node in Capricorn. So then I have to go be Capricorn or Mercury, and that is pretty frightful. So, to like that energy, that energetic force, and then I'm at odds, it's at odds, and I've just kind of like learned in those days. I still will be releasing videos for you guys. I'm just doing them ahead of time because y'all, the technical difficulties, Mercury hounds my ass. Let's be honest. He hounds me. And he's funny, but like he thinks he's being funny, but he is not. As far as that energy of the retrograde, and it depends on how funny he's going to be. But since he'll be in Taurus, usually I wouldn't take it too bad and I'd go forward. But the problem is I have Uranus and Taurus at the same time, which is your 5th house of love and romance, which we spoke about last week. If you are new, please double check that, because it's going to explain a lot about what's going on in your 5th house of love and romance. And the thing is Uranus is an expansion of freedom. So what exactly do you think Mercury going retrograde is going to do? Free reign. It's going to be free reign. And I am like, oh, hell no, I'm not dealing with that. And I don't want y'all to necessarily feel that pressure. Because essentially what's going to happen is if this, let's say you pass this week up. You pass up this opportunity to resolve things. You pass this opportunity. It's okay. It will come back for you when you are ready. But I would say try to just change your perspective. See what Pluto is trying to do for you now before he goes retrograde. Because once he goes retrograde, I'm not saying he brings hell with him, but he brings this energy that for me as a Scorpio works. For Capricorns, it probably works for you guys too. But for everybody else, it is very hard. And it is harsh because we understand, as earth and water signs that are dealing with the underworld, we understand the underworld is harsh. It's based on actions and judgments and decisions that were made from the living and what they've done. Your karmic retribution, my sign is just the one that sets the karma and says, this is your karma, boom, because I rule the underworld. You, on the other hand, are like, oh, I'm going to enact it. And it's like now, it's almost like you're being asked to be in the position where karma may be enacted upon you. And it's making you feel a little uncomfortable because, again, you're having to go within and you're having to resolve the deeds that you've done. And that in of itself, when you're the karma bringer, it's enlightening, I would say, very much so. But it can also be troubling because then you've got to learn about your ego, where you came in ego, how that affected you. Can you live with yourself? I always tell myself, whether I'm casting or whether I'm talking to someone or etc., actions, acting upon emotion, I always ask myself this question. If I were to do X, Y, and Z, would I be able to live with myself? Could I live with myself? And I'm talking not in emotion. It's almost like there's this logical part that comes through when you begin to think that way, which the full moon in Libra might be causing you to do this. And when it does that, it almost shifts your perspective enough so you can be enlightened in that moment to make either the choice that you want to make or the enlightened choice. Which I know Capricorn might seem a little like fluff to you, but you have this energy here. Why not use it? Why waste it on anger and hate and sorrow when you can release yourself from it? Like this is where, because of everything right now, I don't understand the suffering going on in the world. I don't, because it is not needed. it is unnecessary. And that's why I'm like, oh, I can't wait for Pluto to go retrograde with Saturn going into Pisces in the summer, because once that happens, things will go back into balance. But until then, we're teeter-tottering every day, our species is, on how we behave towards one another. And it is, even for me, as someone who works with karma, who has talked about karma, I've given your sign plenty of I wouldn't say lectures, but I've given people lectures about how Capricorn works in karma. And people like to think karma does not exist. They have never met you. If they have never met a Capricorn, they do not know karma exists. That's what I always say about those people. So for cross watchers, please don't get mad. But if you think you're absolved of karma, I'm just telling you, it's going to hit everybody very hard. And if you make your resolution, your absolutions now, it will not be as intense when these planets move in the coming months, which again, once things are kind of settled, we'll be able to move forward. Now, Capricorn, when you can do this, this is going to dictate how the Fae blessing that came out last week is going to help you. Other than that, it's almost like you're kind of in limbo. And that's where it's like, okay, the beauty of the Isis Oracle deck, that I know the readings I already did are going to help you to either A, view this, face it, or deal with it in a way that is going to be more beneficial. So that is the beauty of that. Other than that, guys, that's all I have for you. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, okay? Because I love doing these. I want to make sure I'm, you guys are okay with what I'm saying and that this is right. Sorry, I just had to tighten this dress. So I'm still getting used to it because I lost a bunch of weight. So other than that, I love y'all so much. And if you would like to book an emergency session with me, links down below. Full moon reading, links down below. I'm calling it a manifestation life coaching session for the full moon reading, FYI, with the Isis Oracle deck too. So that is down below. Email list below. Basically, everything's in the description box down below. Other than that, I will see you until next week until we meet again. Bye, my loves. Oh, I wanted to tell y'all before I forget. Before I click off, I am going to be accepting readings from now all the way up to Memorial Day weekend. And then I will be off for 2 weeks in June. I have a sibling getting married, and now I'm a part of the wedding, and I have to go walk my mom down the aisle and meet and greet and take photos and, be a part of the wedding party now. So I will be taking 2 weeks off in June from readings. I will still be posting your Fae videos. I'm probably going to do all of those sessions before retrograde hits. But that being said, so you'll still get your fairy blessings for the week. And you'll still have your Isis Oracle ahead of time. But as far as having my schedule open for sessions, I won't be open until June the 16th, I believe. My link for that is in my tip link and the book link. It'll show you my calendar, my days and times that are available. And if you can't book a live in-person reading with me, I do recorded video. So that is something I did want to point out. And I just deliver you the link to your email, and that's that. So, but yeah, for those 2 weeks, I can't be doing readings. There's too much. It's been this wedding. I've known about it for a year. And at first I wasn't even in it, y'all. And then I was like, oh, I'm kind of relieved. And then now it's the 9th hour. And now I have to go to San Antonio to go get a dress. And I live 3 hours away. I'm just like, oh, Jesus. I was going to get the dress I was going to get was in the Ukraine, but then, certain people in a certain country that shall be renamed nameless because I am too pissy with them. Because I know I'm just going to be, they had to go, mess with the Ukrainians. Really, dude? And mess with, I'm just yeah. So I get the frustration. I get the frustration on the 3D level. I know you guys do too. And I think it's something I have to work through. But as far as it goes for you guys have it a little harder than me this week. But I know you can do it. Okay? So anyway, I'll see you next week. Bye.